An exhausted janitor, a crowded boardroom, a CEO collapsed on the floor between screams and stunned silence. What this desperate single dad did on that Tuesday morning was not just an act of courage. It was the unintended trigger for a dark plan to turn a life-saving act into an alleged assault. A plan that would have worked if a single forgotten camera on the ceiling hadn't captured everything. This is the story of how one attempt to save a life almost destroyed an innocent man, before changing the fate of an entire company forever. The boardroom smells like leather and expensive coffee. Afternoon light cuts through floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long shadows across the mahogany table where 12 executives sit reviewing quarterly reports. Tyler Bennett pushes his cleaning cart quietly along the far wall, invisible as always. He's learned to move like air in rooms like these, present but never noticed. Then Catherine Wells, CEO of Meridian Industries, stands to present. Mid-sentence, her hand flies to her chest. Her face drains of color. The words die in her throat. She gasps once, twice, then collapses backward, her chair clattering against the marble floor. For 3 seconds, nobody moves. 12 powerful people freeze, staring at their fallen leader like statues. Shock paralyzes them. Then Tyler drops his spray bottle. His feet are already moving before his mind catches up. He shoves past a vice president, drops to his knees beside Catherine's motionless body. Her lips are blue. No pulse, no breathing. His hands find the center of her chest. Years ago, the community center near his apartment offered free CPR classes. He took them on a Tuesday night after his shift, thinking maybe someday. Now his palms press down hard and fast. 1, 2, 3, counting under his breath. Sweat forms on his forehead. 30 compressions. He tilts her head back, breathes into her mouth twice. Her chest rises and falls with his air, not hers. "Someone call 911, he shouts without looking up. Nobody answers. He keeps going. Press, press. His shoulders burn. Breath, breath, press, press, press. Around him, executives pull out phones, step backward, whisper urgently. Someone is recording. Through the window, the city sprawls below, indifferent and vast. After 90 seconds that feel like forever, Catherine's body jerks. She coughs violently, gasping, her eyes flying open in confusion and terror. Tyler rolls her gently onto her side as she vomits. He stays close, one hand on her shoulder, speaking softly. "You're okay. You're breathing. Help is coming. Just breathe." The ambulance arrives 8 minutes later. Paramedics rush in with equipment and authority. They take over, asking Tyler rapid questions. How long was she down? What did you do? When did she start breathing? He answers clearly, hands still shaking. They load Catherine onto a stretcher. As they wheel her out, her eyes find Tyler for just a moment wide, grateful, afraid. Then she's gone. The room empties. Tyler stands alone near his abandoned cleaning cart, his shirt damp with sweat, his hands trembling. David Thorne, the chief operating officer, approaches him slowly. His expression is cold, calculating. "Security will need to review the footage," he says quietly. "We'll need you to come with us." Standard procedure. Tyler nods, confused but compliant. He doesn't understand why the man's voice sounds like an accusation. By that evening, Tyler is unemployed. The security office interrogation lasts 2 hours. David Thorne sits across from him with 2 other executives and the head of security. They ask the same questions over and over with different wording. Why were you so close to Ms. Wells? Did you touch her before she collapsed? What exactly were you doing in that boardroom? Their tone suggests guilt, not curiosity. "I was cleaning," Tyler repeats. "I saw her fall. I did CPR. That's all." "That's all," Thorne echoes, his voice dripping with skepticism. "You just happened to be there. You just happened to put your hands all over our CEO. The words land like a slap. Tyler feels the room shift. They're not investigating what happened. They're deciding what story to tell. He tries to explain again the CPR training, the seconds of delay before he acted, the panic, the relief when she breathed. But Thorne cuts him off. "We appreciate your initiative," he says slowly, "but given the sensitive nature of what occurred and certain concerns about protocol violations, we're terminating your employment effective immediately." Tyler stares. "Protocol violations? You made physical contact with Ms. Wells without authorization. You were in a restricted area. Your contract prohibits unapproved interaction with executive staff." Thorne slides a termination document across the desk. "Sign here. I saved her life." "That's one interpretation." Thorne's eyes are ice. "Sign." Tyler signs because he doesn't know what else to do. They escort him out through a back exit, his few personal items stuffed in a plastic bag. No goodbye, no thank you. Just the heavy metal door closing behind him and the cold autumn air hitting his face. He stands in the alley for a long time, trying to understand what just happened. The rumors start that same night. Someone leaks a partial video. Edited footage shows Tyler approaching Catherine, his hands on her body, her collapsing backward. The critical context, the collapse happening first, the CPR, her breathing again, is missing. Online, the narrative writes itself. Meridian Industries janitor assaulted CEO during executive meeting. Video shows male employee inappropriately touching unconscious female executive. Catherine Wells hospitalized after disturbing workplace incident. By morning, Tyler's face is everywhere. Not his full name, not yet, but enough. Screenshots from the video. Speculation about his past. Comment sections exploding with outrage and certainty. Nobody asks for his side. Nobody questions the missing context. The story is too perfect, too outrage-ready, too clickable. He sits at his kitchen table in the small apartment he shares with his 8-year-old daughter Lily, scrolling through the posts with growing horror. His phone buzzes constantly. Numbers he doesn't recognize. A few supportive texts from coworkers who know the truth, but they're drowned out by threatening messages from strangers. Lily comes out of her room, school uniform half buttoned. "Dad, are you okay?" He locks his phone quickly, forces a smile. "Yeah, baby, just tired." "Come here, let me help with those buttons." She's small for her age, with his dark eyes and her mother's smile, a mother who left 3 years ago and never looked back. Lily is his whole world. Every early shift, every double, every skipped meal is for her. And now this. Being a single dad means there's no backup plan, no one else to catch them if he falls. "Why didn't you go to work?" she asks as he finishes the last button. "I'm taking a break." "Got some time off." The lie tastes bitter. She tilts her head, studying him the way kids do when they know something's wrong but don't have words for it. "Okay," she says finally. "Can we have pancakes?" "Yeah, pancakes." The job search starts that afternoon after dropping Lily at school. Tyler sends his resume to 15 places. By evening, 3 have already replied with rejections. By the next day, the rejection emails pile up. One includes a vague reference to recent concerns and cultural fit. His name must be circulating. He tries temp agencies. They're polite but evasive. "Nothing available right now. We'll keep your information on file. Have you considered looking outside the city?" His savings account shows $847. Rent is due in 12 days. Lily's school field trip permission slip sits on the counter, requesting $40 he doesn't have. The electric bill is overdue. His phone buzzes again. Another message from an unknown number. "Hope you rot." He blocks it, opens his banking app, stares at the numbers, does math in his head. 2 weeks until everything falls apart. As a single dad, he doesn't have the luxury of waiting for things to work out. Every dollar gone is one less meal for Lily, one step closer to losing everything. That night, Lily draws pictures at the kitchen table while he washes dishes. She's humming something from school, completely unaware that the floor beneath them is cracking. He watches her small hands moving the crayons across paper purple sky, yellow house, two stick figures holding hands. One tall, one small. "Who's that?" he asks, drying his hands. "Us," she says simply. "We're happy." His throat closes. He turns back to the sink before she can see his face. The story doesn't die. It metastasizes. A local news site picks it up, then a larger one. Someone identifies him by name Tyler Bennett, 34, single dad, former janitor. His address leaks. Photos of his apartment building appear online with speculation about his character, his past, his intentions. People who've never met him explain confidently what kind of person he is. The police visit on day 4. 2 officers, polite but firm. They ask him to come to the station for questioning. He explains everything again, the collapse, the CPR, the termination. They take notes. One officer's expression suggests he believes Tyler. The other's face reveals nothing. "Ms. Wells is recovering," the believing officer says carefully. "But she hasn't given a statement yet. Until she does, we have to follow up on the complaints." "Complaints?" Tyler's voice cracks. Anonymous tips, social media reports. People saying they witnessed an assault. The officer looks uncomfortable. "Look, between us, the full security footage would clear this up. But Meridian's lawyers are blocking access, citing employee privacy and company policy." Of course they are. David Thorne is controlling the narrative, and the truth is dangerous to whatever game he's playing. The police let Tyler go, but tell him not to leave town. He walks home in the rain, hood up, hoping nobody recognizes him. At a crosswalk, a woman stares at him, then pulls her child closer. The message is clear: monster, predator, threat. Days blur together. Tyler stops sleeping properly. He lies awake calculating how long until eviction, how to stretch food, whether Lily's school has noticed anything wrong. During the day, he applies for jobs that never call back. He sells his TV, his good jacket, his father's watch. The pile of cash grows slowly. Not enough. Lily asks why they're eating pasta again. He says it's because she loves pasta. She accepts this with the unquestioning faith of childhood. He wonders how long until that faith breaks. The apartment building superintendent knocks on day 8. He's a decent man, 50s, tired eyes. "Tyler, I gotta ask about the rent." "I know." "I'm working on it." The superintendent shifts his weight. There's also been complaints. Other tenants, they've seen the news. They're uncomfortable. Something inside Tyler finally snaps, not into rage. Into something colder, harder. "Uncomfortable," he repeats. "I saved someone's life. I did CPR, and now I can't find work, can't pay rent, can't show my face outside without being called a monster. But sure, they're uncomfortable." The superintendent looks down. "I believe you, kid, but my hands are tied. The property management company wants you out by the end of the month if you can't pay. 12 days to figure out the impossible." At night, Tyler sits on the fire escape outside Lily's window. The city sprawls below him, millions of lights, millions of lives happening simultaneously. Somewhere out there, Catherine Wells is recovering in luxury. Somewhere, David Thorne is sleeping soundly. Somewhere, people are sharing his face with captions about justice and protecting women and corporate accountability. And here he is, invisible again. Except this time, the invisibility would be a mercy. He thinks about the CPR class at the community center. The instructor was a retired paramedic, maybe 60, with kind eyes and steady hands. She'd made them practice on the dummies over and over until the rhythm was automatic. "Someday," she'd said, You might be the only person standing between someone and death. And you'll have maybe 90 seconds to decide who you are, Tyler decided. He acted. He saved a life. This is his reward. A sound behind him. Lily climbs through the window in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. Dad? Why are you out here? Just thinking, baby. She sits beside him, small and warm. They're quiet for a while, watching the city breathe. Then she says, Are we in trouble? He wants to lie. Wants to protect her from this, but she's smarter than he gives her credit for. Yeah, he says quietly. We are. Because you helped that lady? He looks at her, surprised. You know about that? I heard some moms talking at school. They said you did something bad. But I know you didn't. She says it with absolute certainty, the way she believes in gravity and bedtime stories. You always help people. His eyes burn. He pulls her close. It's complicated, Lily, but you did the right thing. Yeah, then it'll be okay, she yawns. That's what you always tell me. He wishes he had her faith. Meanwhile, 15 miles across the city in a private hospital suite, Catherine Wells is asking questions. She's been awake for 3 days now. The doctors say she's lucky cardiac arrest in a room full of people, immediate CPR, paramedics arriving quickly. 10 more seconds and she'd be dead or brain damaged. As it is, she has an implanted defibrillator and a strict recovery plan. But something bothers her. Gaps in her memory. The last thing she remembers clearly is standing to present, then nothing, then pain and confusion and bright lights. The period in between is blank. David Thorne visits her daily. He brings reports, updates, assurances that everything is handled. When she asks about the person who helped her, his answers are vague. Security handled it. Don't worry about details right now. Focus on recovery. But Catherine didn't build a Fortune 500 company by ignoring details. On day 9 of her recovery, her assistant Sarah brings her laptop. Sarah is young, competent, and loyal to Catherine, not the corporate machine. You shouldn't be working, Sarah says, but she hands over the device anyway. Catherine searches her own name. The results are bizarre. News stories about an incident at Meridian. Vague language about an employee situation and ongoing investigation. She digs deeper. Finds the social media posts. The edited video. The name Tyler Bennett. The video makes her stomach turn. Not because of what it shows, but because of what it doesn't. She knows her body. She knows what happened. The missing context is obvious to her even if nobody else sees it. Get me the full security footage, she tells Sarah. Everything from that boardroom. Every angle, David said. I don't care what David said. Get it. Sarah hesitates, then nods. It might take a day. There's been pushback from legal. Tell legal the CEO is requesting it directly. If they refuse, they can explain why to my lawyers. The footage arrives that evening. Catherine watches it alone. Once, twice, 3 times. Each viewing makes her anger burn hotter. She sees herself collapse, sees the room freeze. Sees Tyler she knows his name now drop everything and run to her. Sees him perform CPR with steady hands and clear focus while executives stand around useless. Sees her cough and breathe. Sees his relief. Sees him stay close, protective, until paramedics arrive. Then she watches what happens after. The cold interrogation. David Thorne's calculated questions. The termination. The escort to the back exit like a criminal. Catherine closes the laptop. Her hands shake with fury. This man saved her life, and her company thanked him by destroying his. Sarah, she says into her phone, find Tyler Bennett. I need to know where he is right now. It takes Sarah 6 hours to locate him. She reports back with an address, employment status, terminated, and some additional information that makes Catherine's chest tighten. Single father, 8-year-old daughter, currently jobless, facing eviction, Reputation destroyed by selective leaks from Meridian's own security department. Catherine discharges herself against medical advice. Her driver takes her to Tyler's neighborhood, a part of the city she hasn't seen in years. Old buildings, cracked sidewalks, corner stores with bars on the windows. Children play in a small park despite the cold. The city here looks different, worn, real. His building is 5 stories of brick and faded paint. The lobby smells like old carpet and cleaning solution. She climbs to the 3rd floor, her legs weak from bed rest, her heart monitor beeping softly under her clothes. At apartment 3C, she knocks. No answer. She knocks again. Mr. Bennett? Tyler? The door opens slowly. The man who appears is not the one from the video. That man was alert, capable, strong. This one looks hollowed out. Unshaven, exhausted, wearing the same clothes from 2 days ago. His eyes are dark with sleeplessness. When he sees her, he goes completely still. "Ms. Wells," he says finally. "You shouldn't be here. May I come in?" He looks behind him at the small apartment, at the kitchen table covered in job applications and unpaid bills, at Lily's drawings on the refrigerator, at the evidence of barely holding together. Then he steps aside. Catherine enters. The space is clean but spare. Everything worn but cared for. A child's backpack by the door. Dishes drying in the rack. The life of someone who works hard and has little to show for it. The life of a single dad doing everything he can with nothing left to give. "You saved my life," she says without preamble. "And my company destroyed yours in return. I came to say I'm sorry and to fix this." Tyler laughs, but there's no humor in it. "Fix it? How?" "My name is everywhere. Nobody will hire me. I'm 2 days from losing this place. My daughter is 8 years old and she's about to learn that doing the right thing costs everything." His voice cracks. "So unless you can rewind time, there's nothing to fix." Catherine reaches into her bag, pulls out an envelope. This is a check. Enough to cover 6 months of rent and expenses. Consider it emergency assistance while we sort out the rest. He stares at it without taking it. "I don't want charity." "It's not charity. It's a fraction of what I owe you." She sets it on the table. "I've also cleared your name internally. The full security footage has been distributed to every executive and board member. I'm issuing a public statement tomorrow with an official apology from Meridian Industries and an explanation of what actually happened." Tyler's hands curl into fists. Not in anger, in something that looks like pain. That won't undo what's already out there. People believe what they want to believe. Then we'll make them believe the truth. Catherine moves closer, her voice gentles. "Tyler, I need you to understand something. When I woke up in the hospital, they told me I died for 90 seconds. Everything that happened after, every moment I've had with my family, every breath, every morning, exists because you acted. Because you knew what to do and you did it without hesitation while everyone else stood there." She pauses. "But more than that, you did it knowing it might cost you, and it did. That kind of courage is rare. I just did CPR." His voice is barely a whisper. "No, you did more. You saw a human being in crisis and you treated her like she mattered more than your job, your safety, your comfort. In a room full of powerful people, you were the only one who actually had power. The power to help." Catherine reaches out, touches his arm lightly. "I'm not here just to apologize. I'm here to offer you something." Tyler finally looks at her directly. His eyes are red-rimmed but fierce. "I don't want my old job back." "Good, because that's not what I'm offering." Catherine walks to the window, looks out at the neighborhood. Meridian Industries employs 60,000 people. Most of them are like you, people keeping the whole machine running while being invisible to those at the top. And when something goes wrong, they're the ones who suffer while people like David Thorne protect the company's image. She turns back. "I want to create something new." a program dedicated to employee welfare and justice. Real protection, not corporate PR. Actual investigation of complaints, actual consequences for retaliation, actual support for people when the system fails them. And I want you to run it. The silence stretches. Tyler blinks. Run it? I'm a janitor. You were a janitor. Now you're someone who understands exactly what happens when the system crushes people for doing the right thing. Catherine's voice is firm. I need someone who's been on the bottom. Someone who knows what it's like to be invisible. Someone who won't protect the powerful at the expense of the vulnerable. That's not me. That's you. Tyler sits down slowly. I don't have a degree. I don't know corporate policy. I don't. You know what matters. The rest we can teach you. Catherine pulls out a folder, sets it on the table next to the check. This is a proposal. An entire division dedicated to what I'm describing. Budget, structure, hiring authority, direct report to me. I'm calling it the Employee Advocacy and Protection Office. Read it. Think about it. If you say yes, we start building next week. Tyler opens the folder with shaking hands. Pages of plans, organizational charts, mission statements. Words like dignified treatment and systemic accountability and voice for the voiceless. At the bottom, a job description. Director of Employee Advocacy. Salary, $120,000 annually. He closes the folder. Looks at her like she's speaking a foreign language. Why? Because you saved my life, and I'm going to spend the rest of it making sure it was worth saving. Catherine's eyes are steady. Because a company that fires someone for doing CPR is broken, and I'm going to fix it. And because I think you're the right person to help me do it. I need to think about it. Take your time. But Tyler, she pauses at the door. This isn't pity. This isn't guilt. This is me recognizing that the person who saved my life is also the person who can help me save others. Don't say no because you don't think you deserve it. Say no only if you don't want to do the work. After she leaves, Tyler sits with the folder and the check for a long time. When Lily comes home from school, she finds him crying at the kitchen table. But this time, she doesn't ask why. She just climbs into his lap and holds on. The public statement drops the next morning. Catherine Wells personally recorded a video that goes out through every Meridian Channel website, social media, press release, internal memo. She appears on camera, still pale but composed, and tells the truth. She explains what happened. Shows the full security footage. Names Tyler Bennett as the single dad janitor who saved her life through immediate CPR while she was suffering cardiac arrest. Explains that he was terminated unjustly. Announces that David Thorne has been placed on administrative leave pending investigation of his handling of the incident. Apologizes directly to Tyler. Announces the new Employee Advocacy and Protection Office and his role leading it. The video goes viral within hours. Comment sections flip. News outlets correct their stories. The social media narrative shifts dramatically. Apologies flood in, some genuine, some performative. Tyler's face circulates again, but this time with different captions. Hero, lifesaver, victim of corporate injustice. Single dad who did the right thing. His phone explodes with messages, job offers, interview requests. People trying to climb back into his good graces. He ignores most of them, but a few old coworkers reach out with simple notes. Always knew you were good people. Proud of you. You deserved better. The superintendent knocks on his door with a sheepish expression. Heard the news. About the rent. Don't worry about it. Take your time. Tyler thanks him, knowing he won't need time. The check Catherine left is already deposited. Rent is paid for 6 months. The electric company received full payment. Lily's school field trip has been paid for twice over. For the first time in weeks, he sleeps through the night. Tyler visits the Meridian building 3 days later. This time he enters through the front door. Security recognizes him immediately, but their treatment is different, respectful, almost deferential. They give him a visitor badge and escort him to the executive floor. Catherine meets him personally. She looks stronger, color back in her face. "You came," she says, smiling. "I wanted to see what you're talking about." She leads him through corridors he's only cleaned before, past offices where people look up from their work to watch him pass. Some faces show curiosity. Others show guilt. They reach a section of the building under construction, what used to be storage and underutilized office space. "This is it," Catherine says, gesturing to the empty floor. 5,000 square feet. Waiting to become whatever you decide it should be. Tyler walks through the space slowly. Afternoon light streams through windows overlooking the city. The same city where he scrubbed floors, where he was escorted out a back exit, where he sat on fire escapes wondering how to feed his daughter. "I don't know if I can do this," he admits quietly. "Neither do one." Catherine's honesty surprises him. "But I know you understand what's at stake better than anyone I could hire with an MBA and consulting experience. You've lived the failure of this system. That's worth more than any credential. What if I mess it up? Then we'll fix it together." "Tyler, I'm not asking you to be perfect. I'm asking you to be real." She turns to face him fully. "This office is going to investigate complaints, review terminations, audit department practices, implement support systems, and hold people accountable when they abuse power. It's going to make enemies. It's going to be hard. But it's also going to save people from going through what you went through." Tyler looks out the window at the city. Somewhere down there, other people are being treated as invisible. Other single parents are being punished for doing the right thing. Other people are wondering if courage is worth the cost. "Okay," he says. "I'll do it." Catherine extends her hand. He shakes it. The deal is made. Building the program takes weeks. Tyler spends hours with HR consultants, lawyers, organizational experts, and employee representatives. Catherine gives him hiring authority and budget. They design systems, anonymous reporting channels, independent investigation protocols, mandatory mediation processes, retaliation protection policies, employee assistance funds. Tyler interviews candidates for his team. He looks for people who've worked frontline jobs, people who felt powerless, people who understand systems from the bottom up. He hires a former warehouse worker as operations manager, a retired union organizer as employee relations director, a social worker as wellness coordinator. They set up the physical space together. Comfortable chairs, private meeting rooms, a waiting area that doesn't feel corporate, a hotline that goes to real people, not automated systems, art on the walls from local artists. Everything designed to say, "You matter here." Lily visits during setup. She walks through the space holding Tyler's hand, looking around with wide eyes. "Is this where you work now, Dad?" "Yeah, baby. This is it. It's big. It's for a lot of people." He kneels to her level. "Remember when I helped that lady and got in trouble?" She nods seriously. This office is to make sure that doesn't happen to other people. So if someone does the right thing, they don't get punished for it. Lily considers this. Then she says, "That's good. People should help each other." "Yeah, they should." She hugs him tight. Over her shoulder, Tyler sees Catherine watching from the doorway, her expression unreadable. When Lily lets go and runs to examine the art on the walls, Catherine approaches. "She's wonderful," Catherine says quietly. "She's why I'm doing this." So she grows up in a world where courage doesn't cost everything. It will still cost something. Catherine's voice is gentle but honest. The people who benefit from how things are, they're going to fight back. I know. Are you ready? Tyler watches his daughter trace her fingers along a painting of a cityscape. "I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm doing it anyway." The pushback comes sooner than expected. 2 weeks after the Employee Advocacy and Protection Office officially opens, an anonymous source leaks information about Tyler's past to a gossip site. It's carefully selected details: a shoplifting charge from when he was 19 and desperate, an eviction 3 years ago after Lily's mother left, 2 jobs he was let go from for minor infractions. None of it is secret. All of it is framed to make him look unstable, untrustworthy, unworthy of the position. The story spreads. Janitor turned director has troubled past reads one headline. Is Catherine Wells' charity case qualified to lead? Asks another. Social media picks it up. The comments are brutal. People who celebrated him weeks ago now question his credibility. Tyler reads the articles in his new office, his stomach churning. Everything they're saying is true. He did shoplift groceries once when Lily needed food and he had 60 cents in his bank account. He was evicted because he couldn't make rent after his ex-wife left him with a toddler and no child support. He lost jobs because he was too tired, too distracted, too broken from keeping everything together alone. Single dad life meant constant, impossible choices, and sometimes he chose wrong. His team notices the change in him. The operations manager finds him staring at his computer screen, face pale. "You saw," she says. It's not a question. "Yeah." His voice is flat. "What are you going to do?" Tyler looks at her. She's a woman in her 50s who spent 20 years in warehouses before burning out and retraining as a paralegal. She knows what it's like to be judged. I don't know. Maybe they're right. Maybe I'm not qualified. Qualified? She sits across from him. "Tyler, I've watched you spend 3 weeks building systems that actually protect people. I've seen you push back against executives who wanted loopholes in the retaliation policy. I've heard you talk to employees like they're human beings, not problems to manage. You're more qualified than anyone with a perfect resume who's never struggled a day in their life. But my past. Your past is why you understand. It's not a weakness. It's your strength." She leans forward. "They're attacking you because you're dangerous to them. Think about who benefits from destroying your credibility. Think about who wants this office to fail." Tyler does think about it. David Thorne is on administrative leave, but his allies remain. People who've built careers on the old system where workers were disposable and power protected itself. People who see Tyler's office as a threat. The hit piece isn't random. It's strategic. "I need to respond," Tyler says slowly. "How?" "By telling the truth. All of it." Meridian Industries holds a quarterly all-hands meeting where Catherine addresses the entire company via live stream. 10,000 employees tune in from offices, warehouses, retail locations, and home offices. Normally, these meetings cover earnings, strategy, announcements. This time, Catherine opens with something different. "Before we begin," she says, looking directly at the camera, "I want to address something. There have been questions about Tyler Bennett's qualifications to lead our new Employee Advocacy and Protection Office. Questions about his past. So I've asked Tyler to speak to you directly. Not because he needs to justify himself to me. I know exactly who he is. But because I think his story is important." The camera switches to Tyler. He's standing in the new office, wearing a button-down shirt and slacks, professional but not corporate. His hands are visible, no podium to hide behind. His expression is calm, but you can see the fear underneath. "Most of you don't know me," he begins. 2 months ago, I was cleaning floors in this building. Before that, I did a lot of jobs, fast food, retail, warehouses, whatever kept a roof over my daughter's head. I'm not a corporate executive. I didn't go to business school. My resume has gaps and problems and things I'm not proud of." He pauses. 10,000 people are listening. "When I was 19, I stole food from a grocery store because I was hungry and broke. When I was 31, I got evicted because my daughter's mother left and I couldn't afford rent on one income. I've been fired from jobs for being late too many times because I was taking my daughter to school and couldn't afford before care. I've made mistakes. I've struggled. I've failed. Another pause. Some people watching shift uncomfortably. Others lean in. And that's exactly why I can do this job. Tyler's voice strengthens. Because I know what it's like to be invisible. To do everything right and still fall through the cracks. To make one mistake and have it follow you forever. To be punished for having normal human problems in a system that demands perfection from people it pays poverty wages. As a single dad, I've had to choose between being on time for work and making sure my daughter got to school safely. Between paying rent and buying medicine. Between asking for help and losing everything because asking makes you look weak. He takes a breath. 2 months ago, I did CPR on Catherine Wells and saved her life. Then I was fired and publicly destroyed for it. If this office had existed then, maybe that wouldn't have happened. That's what we're building, a place where doing the right thing doesn't cost you everything. Where having a complicated past doesn't disqualify you from having a dignified future. Where the system actually protects people instead of grinding them down. Tyler looks directly at the camera. I'm not perfect. I never will be. But I'm committed to making sure that when you need help, someone who understands will be there. Not someone who sees you as a problem. Someone who sees you as a person. Someone who knows what it's like to be a single parent working 3 jobs. Someone who's been invisible. Someone who's been where you are. He stops talking. The silence stretches. Then Catherine's voice comes back. Thank you, Tyler. Any employee who wants to use the new office can find information on the company portal. That's what we're building here. A company where people matter as much as profits. The live stream ends. For a few seconds, Tyler just stands there, feeling exposed and raw. Then his phone starts buzzing. Emails flood in. Messages from employees. Most of them short and simple. Thank you. Needed to hear that. Glad you're there. My sister was fired last year for reporting harassment. Wish this office existed then. Single mom here. You get it. Tyler reads them until his eyes blur. His team comes in one by one, not saying much, just being present. By evening, the news cycle has shifted again. News stories focus on his speech. Comment sections fill with support. Not universal, nothing ever is, but enough. Enough to keep going. 6 months pass. The Employee Advocacy and Protection Office processes its 500th case. Tyler reviews the statistics with his team in their weekly meeting. Complaints investigated, 187. Terminations reversed, 23. Harassment cases resolved, 45. New policies implemented, 12. Employees assisted financially, 89. We're making a difference, the wellness coordinator says, showing a graph of employee satisfaction scores rising across departments they've worked with. But Tyler knows the numbers don't capture everything. They don't show the single mother who kept her job after reporting discrimination, the warehouse worker who got back pay after being unfairly docked for medical absences, the retail employee who received protection after standing up to an abusive manager, the single dad in logistics who got emergency assistance when his child got sick and he had no paid leave. Each case is a life changed. A person who didn't have to face the system alone. Catherine visits regularly, checking progress and approving expanded resources. The board questioned her at first. The program costs millions annually. But turnover is down, productivity is up, and Meridian's reputation has shifted. Recruiting is easier. Employee referrals have doubled. Turns out treating people well is good business. David Thorne was terminated after the full investigation revealed a pattern of protecting the company at workers' expense. 2 other executives took early retirement. New leadership in HR actually answers emails now. Small changes ripple outward. Tyler walks through the Meridian building now, and people recognize him not as the janitor, but as the Fithintian building now, and people recognize him now, and people recognize him not as the janitor, but as the jinnastor, person who runs the office that saved their job or helped their friend or changed a policy that was crushing them. Some thank him. Others just nod respectfully. A few still view him with skepticism, but most see him as what he is, someone trying. Lily is proud. She tells her friends her dad helps people at work. For her 9th birthday, she asks if they can visit his office. He brings her in on a Saturday when the building is quiet. She sits in his chair, spins around, looks at the art on the wall's different pieces now, including one she made in school. He had it framed. "Do you like your job, Dad?" She asks. "Yeah, baby, I really do. Even when it's hard?" Especially when it's hard. He thinks about how to explain this. When something's hard but important, that's when it matters most. She nods like she understands. Maybe she does. The evening finds Tyler where he often ends up on the fire escape outside their apartment. They live in a better place now, a building with an elevator and heat that works consistently. But he still comes out here sometimes, looking at the city. The lights stretch forever. Millions of people living their lives, struggling and celebrating and surviving and thriving all at once. Somewhere in that vast network of light, someone is facing a choice. Do the right thing or protect yourself. Help or hide. Speak up or stay safe. Tyler thinks about the CPR class at the community center, about the retired paramedic telling them they might have 90 seconds to decide who they are, about pressing his hands to Catherine Wells' chest while everyone else froze, about the cost that came after, about Lily's faith that doing the right thing would be okay eventually. She was right, but not in the way she meant. It's okay not because everything worked out perfectly. It's okay because even when it doesn't, choosing courage over safety matters. Even when the system punishes you, even when nobody sees, even when it costs everything, even when you're a single dad with more to lose than most. The work continues. Every day brings new cases, new problems, new fights against the parts of the system that resist change, but every day also brings small victories. People keeping jobs they needed. Policies changing to be less cruel. Voices being heard that were silent before. Tyler Bennett is not perfect. His past is still complicated. His education is still limited. His experience is still unconventional. But he shows up every morning to an office dedicated to one simple idea. People matter more than protecting power. And in a world that often forgets that, someone choosing to remember, someone choosing to act, makes all the difference. The city breathes below him. The lights blink on and off. Inside, Lily is doing homework at the kitchen table. Tomorrow, he'll go back to the office. There will be cases to review, employees to meet with, policies to fight for, people to protect. And he'll do it. Because a long time ago, in a moment of crisis, he pressed his hands to someone's chest and refused to let her die. He chose action over paralysis, help over indifference, courage over safety. That choice defined him, not just because it saved a life, but because it revealed who he was when everything was at stake. And who he is, it turns out, is enough.